You reckon it's going to be the next eclipse when things are start to unfold?
Okay, well, sorry about the noise. I hope you can still hear me.
Oh, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. So one of the things I looked at was, you know, the Most High said he would use the sun, moon, and stars for signs and seasons. Yeah. So, you know, he would be giving us signs in the sky, and America got a big sign in the sky in 2017. Yeah. The Great American Eclipse, right, which went through 7 places called Jerusalem or Salem in America. Yeah, against all odds. How the path of this eclipse could go through 7 Salems is like beyond any chance whatsoever. Yeah, and it happened on August 21st, which was 398 years to the day when the first slave touched down in America. Okay, so I can't see that as coincidence. And then add to that my son, when I told my son this, he went away, did a bit of research, and he come back and he said, Dad, did you know that in 1619, I think it's in April 1619, West Africa got an eclipse. So literally the path of this eclipse would have meant that everybody in sub-Saharan Africa would have seen at least a partial eclipse, you know, a few months before the first slaves were taken. Yeah. So there are signs being shown, and you know these days they turn these signs into entertainment. Yeah, so that we don't know the prophetic nature of these signs. But the point about this one in 2017, right? Well, 7 years on from that eclipse, there's another eclipse happening. It's in 2024. Okay, goes across America the other way.
Makes an X, right?
Makes an X. And what's the number X or ta in Paleo Hebrew? 400. Okay. So where it makes the X just so happens to be the point at where that first eclipse, which you know, where everywhere you see the total eclipse, it lasts for a certain amount of time. But in this particular spot, it lasted for a few milliseconds longer than anywhere else. Yeah, just happens to be the same place that the second eclipse crosses, right? Which is over the New Madrid fault line in America, which is one of the most active fault lines in the States, and that's connected to the Yellowstone fault line. And underneath Yellowstone is a supervolcano, which in 2018 started to wake up. Literally, they had to close the park several times because new geysers started to erupting, and the ground started going up and down 6 feet. Yeah, so it seems like, you know, Yellowstone is preparing, and they've already said if that volcano goes, it's going to take 3/4 of America with it immediately. Yeah. So I'm you know, I'm not saying I'm a prophet or anything, but just looking at these signs is that I'm just saying that somewhere in or around 2024, America is going to disappear, just like it says in Second Esdras. The middle head of the 3-headed eagle is going to suddenly disappear. Right? So that's why I'm saying that the Exodus, the second Exodus, has to happen at some point before 2024. So literally back in 2017, when just before this first eclipse went over, I was saying, yeah, we're going to see some amazing things in between these 2 eclipses. Yeah, and we're already seeing amazing things.
Yeah.
So that's my view, that you know, we're coming up to, you know, that we've got signs in the sky showing us. One other thing, 2018, on August 21st, 2018, the 399th year, yeah, most people don't realize was the biggest slave revolt in Earth's history happened on that day. Okay, and most people haven't heard about it. So in America, there is one place where slavery is legal. Do you know where that is?
I have no idea.
Prison.
Well, certainly, yes. Prison industrial complex. Yep.
Indeed, and it's in the 14th Amendment. Yeah, you can be a legal slave if you've been convicted of a crime. Right.
Yeah.
So on August 21st, 2018, right, the whole of the prison population in America stopped working. They refused to work. It was the biggest slave revolt in history. But you know, you can go and search it on Google or whatever. Yeah, you'll find that was the day they chose to not work anymore. You know, so I can't see that as coincidental. So yeah, we're leading up to, as I said, I'm thinking that America is going to disappear. You know, in some point in the next 3 years, you know, or the end of the next 3 years. So that's all that was all about.
Did anyone have anything to add?
I didn't stun you into silence, did I?
No.
Brother Henry got anything to say about that?
Who was this?
Brother Henry or yourself, anybody got anything to say about that? Because according to my understanding, as far as the prophecy goes, I thought that America was going to be wiped out by missiles, that it was going to be a gathering of nations.
Be attacked.
Yeah, and the Most High calls it the weapons of his indignation, and you can see countries like Russia building what they call, you know, I forget they named so many of these missiles. I mean, it's so many of these missiles. It's hard to keep up, but they're in gathering.
No, but
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if the volcano erupts, that's going to be like a missile.
Oh, okay. See that? Okay.
Yeah, you understand. If a big volcano erupts, everything flies, everything's gone.
Yeah. I was in reference to what's the Isaiah chapter 13. Also where he talks about this in Jeremiah 50 and 51. He mentions a gathering of nations coming together to, you know, to destroy the land. Now I've learned a lot of things too in this book. Like the Most High does things in multiple ways. Even like the flood, a lot of people when they look at the flood, they think it was just raining for 40 days and 40 nights. But what they don't read the other part was he said the great deep was broken up, which means he caused the ocean to rise. You know, so he broke up the great deep. So it was actually water coming from two different areas. We had, two different. It was coming from the sky, and also it was coming from the water. You know? So it could be a multiple of things. You know, he could use that to wipe out half the, a third of the country. He could use the bombs to wipe out the other 2/3 of the country. You know, in this instance, it both can play out like that. So, yeah, I just want to put mention that.
I think the thing that's really struck me was the line, and again, I can't give you a quick chapter and verse, but the line that says, "The merchants will weep from afar off." When America, well, it's got to be America, the biggest consumer of this world, you know, suddenly disappears. All the merchants are going to be weeping.
Yeah, the merchants are gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's the way I see it from looking around. But you know, who knows? We're all kind of trying to play catch up and second guess what the Most High is going to do. But you know, as it says, it's going to be in such a way that we're just going to go, wow, you know. We're not going to talk about how he did it in Egypt. We're going to be talking about how he does it now, you know.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, we're currently seeing a fleeing of all the major manufacturers out of America anyway, in order to, cut costs, all right, not have to deal with all the different things that they have to deal with in America. I mean, we're actually over the last month and a half or so, they're saying that our inflation has gone up 4.something%. So the average American family is feeling it. Those who have been well off are no longer so. Those who have been comfortable are now being made uncomfortable. So things are changing here drastically. And what we're seeing is exactly as the book has stated, is different peoples are drawing to their own people. So you're not having this mesh and this cohesiveness that they once thought that they had. All the wickedness of this place is being exposed every day on the cameras. And so we're seeing all of these things taking place right now. What's going on with our people is that many of them are seeing it, but they're not quite clear what they're looking at because most of them have not read the book. So you're seeing a thing, but sometimes when a man sees a thing, you have to explain to him what it is he's looking at. And so many of our people are not, they're just looking at this as just another economical downturn. But the place is being stripped every day, and the other nations are militarily building their weaponry. And they're certainly systematically cutting the power of the US dollar and cutting the use thereof. So the place is being isolated. We can see certainly over the last 2 years, as it pertains to the UN, that the United States has been shunned upon by the UN in many of its votes. So we're seeing a change in things here in America and worldwide. So everything that Dave is stating and that which I'm seeing in the book, they are coming to pass. They're coming to pass slowly, but I'm thinking that it's all going to happen just like that. And if you are not read and you're not certain in which way to go, you're not going to have an opportunity to make that choice. It will be entirely too late. That's why, I made it a point when I came into the light and came into the Most High's truth. My first response was, based on what I have seen and what I've been allowed to see, it is my duty to teach my people this. And I love the YouTube platform because you can present the information and they have an opportunity to make their own choices. Because many of our people are very combative. They're very rebellious, as the book states. They will argue about you or with you pertaining to the book, and they have never cracked that book open not one time. But yet they will argue based on what they have heard, what they were told, and what they believe, and they have never read the book. So the YouTube platform allows you to present some information, and those who will seek it, and those who won't. But you don't have to deal with the contention of the men of Israel and the contention of the women of Israel who refuse to hear.
And also what you mentioned about the other nations, the America becoming isolated, it's also prophesied that even his mother, which is Great Britain,
England, yeah,
he don't even want to deal with it anymore. You get what I mean? And you witnessing that now, like a lot of the countries are turning against it. America's going to be on an island all by itself. So even when that time comes where these nations start to gather together against it, it ain't going to have any allies.
There you go.